Amy and I are parents to three kids in the public schools in El Paso. And we feel, and a lot of folks who've come up to us have told us that they feel lucky in many cases that their kids made it through the school year. We shouldn't have to feel that way, right? And our kids shouldn't have to be afraid about going back to school this August, but many of them will be because this governor has taken literally no action. No action after Uvalde, no action after Santa Fe High School, the massacre in El Paso, Midland, Odessa, Sutherland Springs. He's done nothing to improve safety. And in fact, by signing permitless carry that allows anyone to carry a loaded gun in public without a background check or any training or any vetting whatsoever, he's actually made it far more dangerous in the state of Texas for kids in schools, but also for law enforcement who begged him not to sign this into law because more cops had been gunned down in the state of Texas than in any other. I know from listening to and working with Republicans and Democrats alike that universal background checks, red flag laws, safe storage laws, these are things that most Texans can agree on. In fact, Monica, only 6% of Texas voters, according to this Quinnipiac poll, agree with Greg Abbott's position of not having universal background checks in the state of Texas. In talking to and listening to one of the mothers who lost her daughter in that shooting in Uvalde, she said, I don't want any parent to go through what we've been through. And she said, the other thing I want is answers. And it's incomprehensible that closing in on a month since that massacre, those parents still don't have answers. And they were told by the governor of the state of Texas something that turned out to be completely false. And we now just learned that there were as many as 13 Texas Department of Public Safety troopers in that hallway who had the firepower to take down this gunman and potentially save the lives of those kids in this classroom. I don't know if it is incompetence on the governor's part, but for him not to know the truth and to mislead the state of Texas and those parents is unforgivable, in my opinion. We need answers right now, but we also need action. And this much is clear. We have 4 of the worst mass shootings in US history just in the last 5 years on this governor's watch. I don't know that he wants these to happen, but he's clearly unwilling or incapable of doing anything to prevent these from happening again. We need to turn the page. He needs to retire, and we need to have someone in that office who can protect our kids and look out for the people of Texas. I would have called a special session literally the day after that shooting in Uvalde. As you know, this current governor has called special sessions to go after transgender kids, to make it harder to vote in the state of Texas, to tell teachers in our public schools what version of history they're allowed to teach. Why in the world he won't call a special session to save the lives of our kids before they return to school? In El Paso, the first day of school is August 1 of this summer. So nothing is going to happen because he refused to call that special session. Were I governor, I would call that special session. On the agenda would be universal background checks, red flag laws, safe storage laws, expansion of Medicaid, $10 billion a year we could bring into this state to fully fund mental health care in our communities. And I'd also put on the agenda how we support our public school educators. Uvalde, for many of them, was the last straw. They've gone through 2 years of pandemic, of learning loss for their kids, attacks from their current governor, and now they see him taking no action to protect them and those kids in front of them in the classroom, and they're leaving literally by the thousands. Were I governor right now, I'd do everything in my power to show them the respect that they deserve and that they've earned, to keep them on the job, and to make sure that they can fully deliver for our kids.